The Tale of the Greedy Cat. Once upon a time, in the peaceful village of Willowbrook, there lived a plump orange cat named Marmalade. Marmalade was the pride of the village for his striking fur and charming antics. However, he had one glaring flaw: he was insatiably greedy. Marmalade lived with a kind old baker named Mrs. Crumb. Every morning, the aroma of fresh bread, cakes, and pies wafted from her shop, and Marmalade would sit by the counter, licking his lips. Mrs. Crumb loved him dearly but often warned, "Marmalade, too much of anything is never good for you." But Marmalade didn't listen. He would sneak bites of pies, nibble on loaves, and even lap up leftover cream from the bakery's pantry. Despite his antics, the villagers adored him, often sneaking him treats when Mrs. Crumb wasn't looking. One bright summer morning, Mrs. Crumb prepared a grand feast for the village festival. There were apple pies, buttery croissants, and a towering cake topped with whipped cream and cherries. Marmalade's eyes grew as wide as saucers. "That cake will be mine," he thought, plotting his move. As night fell and the bakery went quiet, Marmalade tiptoed into the kitchen. He climbed onto the counter and took a massive bite out of the towering cake. It was the most delicious thing he had ever tasted, so he kept eating and eating until crash, the entire cake toppled over, covering Marmalade in a mess of cream and crumbs. The noise woke Mrs. Crumb, who found Marmalade sitting in the ruins of the cake, his belly round as a ball. "Oh, Marmalade!" she exclaimed, both exasperated and amused. The next morning, Marmalade woke up with a terrible stomachache. Mrs. Crumb nursed him back to health, all the while reminding him of the dangers of his greed. From that day on, Marmalade learned to share. At the next festival, he sat proudly by Mrs. Crumb, helping her serve slices of cake to the villagers. In return, they gave him gentle pats and tiny treats, just enough to make him happy without making him greedy. And so, Marmalade became the most loved and well-behaved cat in Willowbrook, proving that sometimes, a little mischief can lead to a lesson well learned. The end.